Family, blameless family. Hey, look, I'm out here getting to it, sticking to the script. Y'all know I gotta stick to the script. The only way you're gonna get to that play, make that play happen, the only way you're gonna have success or have that desired result is if you stick to the script. Gotta stick to the script, stay to the plan. But look, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what's on my mind right now. What's on my mind right now is you guys. I want to know how you feeling this morning? What you got going on? I ain't gonna lie, I woke up this morning with the joy. I got joy this morning. But I tell you what, I also experienced sadness as well. And I experienced that sadness, man, because I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, sentiment is something else. Sentiment is a real thing. You know, when you have sentimental value towards something, when you've been around something for so long or been in a certain place for so long, that when things change, you know, you can have that feeling of loss. You know, you go through a grief. It's a grievous thing. It's a grieving process that you go through. So my question is to you guys is, where does your strength come from? Your strength is important. You know, strength is something that comes from being conditioned. You understand what I'm saying? So the joy is what produces strength. The joy of the Lord is what produces strength. You know, so there's a scripture that says the joy of the Lord is my strength. See, joy is something that's different from happiness. You know, I didn't wake up too happy this morning. You know, happiness is a result of things happening. You know, that's dealing with circumstances. That's dealing with the things that's surrounding you. So when you think about circumstances, that's where you get that word circle from. So it's dealing with the things that's surrounding you. But you can have joy in your circumstance. You know, you don't necessarily have to. You can experience moments of weakness and still choose to have joy. You know, because joy is a fruit, and like any other fruit, that fruit has to be cultivated, that fruit has to develop, that fruit has to grow. But just like any other fruit, that fruit not going to just pop up out of nowhere. A seed has to be planted. So you have to plant seeds of joy. You know, how do you plant seeds of joy? Think about the things that's constant, the things that don't change, the things that always remains. So, what's constant in your life? What's not changing? You know, there's plenty of things to be grateful and thankful for. You know, but you don't necessarily have to be quote unquote happy all the time. That's not a realistic thing. You hear people say, "Oh, I just want to be happy." You don't let me open. He let me open. You hear people say, "I just want to be happy." Well, what does that look like? What does happiness look like for you? You know, happiness don't look the same for everybody. You see what I'm saying? Somebody might want a red car that'll make them happy. Somebody might want a blue car that'll make them happy. But the joy will come from them just having a car. You know what I mean? Joy is just being grateful. So peace. That's my little word for you guys this morning, man. You know, don't plant seeds that's not going to produce joy. And make sure that you're getting your joy from a reliable source. Don't look to people to give you joy. People not going to give you joy. Don't look at your job to give you joy. Your job not going to give you joy. You might have a nice job. You might be happy at your job. You know, you might be happy with your job. You might like what you do. I like what I do. You know, I'm doing Uber Eats. You know, I trade the stock market. You know, I actually do Uber Eats to trade the stock market. You know, but I cut hair for a living. But none of those things give me joy. You understand what I'm saying? My joy comes from the Lord alone. You know, I've placed my faith in other people before, you know, and people let you down. People will let you down, man. You know, you can't put your faith in your marriage because sometimes, you know, that'll let you down. You can't put your faith in your job because that'll let you down. Definitely can't put your faith in money. That'll let you down. Money have a tendency to grow wings and fly away. That's why you can't have your emotions attached to finances or to anything like that. It's always coming and going, always up and down. And if you got your emotions attached to finances, you always gonna be up and down. Your emotions are always gonna be up and down. You're gonna be happy when you got money, sad when you don't got money. Same way in your marriage or in your life. You know what I mean? With your job. If you got customers or if you're going, everything going smooth, you're not arguing, then you're happy. You see what I'm saying? But then when you get to beefing and things like that, or things ain't going necessarily the way that you wanted them to go, then you're sad. So the key is to have joy. You want to have joy so that you can remain constant. You see what I'm saying? See, the one that remains constant is a scripture that says, "Heaven and earth will pass away before my word fades or fails." Say, if one jot and tittle is changed in this word, then heaven and earth will pass away. So, you know, somebody would say, well, what does that mean, Daniel? That literally means that as long as the sun is shining, you are promised a good day. God's promises will always come to pass. God's promises are always going to come to pass. Because the sun came out. It's not a problem. I appreciate you do the same.